Hey everyone, welcome to Lead Well. Today we're going to talk about leadership in writing, or the leader as a writer. The written word is one of the most important ways to lead, and so the leader is to write. The leader writes. Culturally, it seems like we're moving back from this oral communication to the written word. Teenagers and now their parents are texting one another primarily. Business associates, coworkers are emailing one another for their correspondences. We are all writing again. We might not be writing well, perhaps, but we are all writing again. And so much about leadership is about communication. And that communication oftentimes involves writing. We're writing to communicate. And your leadership can be undermined if you're a poor writer. So leaders ought to spend time writing well, learning how to write, and setting aside time in order to write. The written word does something very different than the spoken word does. The words sit flat on a page, and they demand attention in a lot of ways. The spoken word can easily be lost and forgotten, but the written word has influence not only for today, but for tomorrow also. It can be looked back upon and reread. And so leaders write. Leaders write to inspire, to explain, to influence, and to motivate. And the leader ought to grow, seek to grow in their writing, to be able to better communicate to others, whether that's in the home, in the workplace, on a team, wherever it might be. Now, one of the problems is so many students can graduate from high school and even college and still be very poor writers. And so that's what I want to talk about briefly, is how can you grow in your writing? What are some steps that you can take to grow to the next phase as a writer, to lead well as a writer? Well, the first two steps are really intertwined, and that's first to read a lot, and secondly to write a lot. You want to read a lot and write a lot. Stephen King, popular novelist, he says if you want to be a writer, you need to do two things above the rest. And that is read a lot and write a lot. He goes so far to say that reading is the creativity center for the writer's life. And so as a writer, as someone who wants to grow in their writing, find pieces of books or articles that is elegant to read, that is enjoyable to read, that draws your attention, and read different works like that. Find authors that you enjoy reading, that garner your attention, and read them. Read a lot. Secondly, write a lot. Set aside a portion of time and say, I'm going to write during this time. Don't worry about trying to get all the grammatical and punctuation absolutely right in that time period, but just sit down and start writing. You'll be shocked once you start going how things come to mind that you weren't even thinking that you can just kind of bring out onto the page. Force yourself to write. That's one of the most difficult things to do. Just force yourself to start writing. It is a massive step you can take. Even some of the best writers I know have a very difficult time to start writing. And this is what they say. They say, I just start writing. I just go and I just do it. And set aside particular time to do it. So that's my encouragement. Read a lot, write a lot. Thirdly, gather all your supplies and all your sources together. If you're going to cite a book or an article for a paper or an email, whatever it might be, have all of that together in front of you. Have your water, have a pen and paper, have your coffee mug, whatever it is you might need to avoid future distraction. Try to have as much of it around you at that time. Fourth, upon finishing, edit your work, edit your writing. So many of us can write, but we don't write in such a way that communicates the way we want it to. So reread it, edit it to be able to make sure you're communicating with the kind of style and tone that you're intending. Invite others to read your work as appropriate. It depends on if you're writing a book or an article versus a simple email to a friend, but invite others along to edit as appropriate. And then finally, send it and let it go. Send it and let it go. When you're done editing, maybe give it one last read, send it in, take a deep breath, and just let it go. Just enjoy that process. Leaders write, and writing is one of the most crucial ways to communicate effectively as a leader. And so let me encourage you to write so that your ideas, your thoughts can be deepened, they can be long lasting, and you can be impactful not only in today, but in tomorrow also. So set aside time today, write right away, and continue to lead well while writing. Thank you.